has gone astray. It hasn't been in recent years in the Republican Party, but it's the country that has gone astray over a good many years. About 100 years ago or so, for some reason, our country came along, and the people who wrote and talked about politics and freedom, they sort of took freedom and chopped it into pieces. They started talking about social freedom, personal liberties, and economic liberties over here. And one group might defend one half, the other group the other half. What we're talking about is freedom as a unit.
That's right.
Freedom for your life to be run as you want. It's your life. It's up to you the way you want to run your own life. In the same sense, it's your economic liberty. If your life is your own and you have a right to pursue your happiness, you ought to have a right to keep the fruits of your labor.
Yes.
Which means, under those circumstances, you know what kind of tax system we'd have. We wouldn't have an income tax. There would be no need for an income tax. But today, the young people have awakened to realize that the numbers aren't adding up and they're getting a bad deal. You know, if you look at the entitlement system, somewhere between $60 and $70 trillion of entitlements that are due in the next 30 years. There aren't enough young people to work hard enough. You could pay 100% of your taxes and still wouldn't pay it. So there's something wrong with the system. And we're realizing that. If you take the Social Security system, we've taught generations now to be dependent on Social Security benefits. Yet the money's gone. The money's been spent. And most people know this now. Where has it been spent? Well, on welfare programs, on war, spending overseas. And now we have to face up to this crisis. And yet, there's been no cutting back. We've been, as Republicans elected in 1994 and again in the year 2000, we were supposed to shrink the size of the government and balance the budget, protect liberty. Hasn't happened. And that's why the people have become disgusted. Yes. The Republican Party has shrunk. The party is not as big as it used to be. They're on the ropes this year. 28 Republican members of Congress don't even feel like it's worthwhile running again. They've sort of given up out of frustration. But there's no reason to give up. There's no reason that we should be frustrated, because the message of liberty, believe me, is alive and well. When we talk about our foreign policy, you know, we talk about a strong national defense and minding our own business. And people say, well, doesn't that sound like isolationism? And it really isn't. It's actually the opposite. Today, we're being isolated from the world. We don't use diplomacy. We have less allies. We have more enemies. Our military equipment's in bad shape. Our national defense is not as secure as it used to be. And yet we're endlessly spending. Not tens of billions, but hundreds of billions of dollars overseas. We have now over 700 bases around the world. We're in 130 countries. And we're having trouble feeding our people here at home. We're having trouble getting medical care for our people. We're having trouble to keep our bridges repaired in this country. It's time we spend our money here at home. With a foreign policy like this, we're very engaged. The founders advise us to have friends around the world, be friendly and trade with people and travel and engage people. If you want to influence people, we're supposed to do it by setting a good example and persuade them. Never use force to try to help tell other people how they're supposed to live. It doesn't work. Right now, it's costing us close to $1 trillion to operate everything we do overseas. And one way we can get our house back in order, because we have to live with less. We have to spend less. We have to get confidence back where we're balancing the budget. We have to restore confidence in the dollar. And we can't do it at this rate. But we can't attack our programs at home. But if we continue to do what we're doing, the programs at home will be attacked. Because right now, we can't keep up. The cost of living is going up faster than we can keep up with. So the standard of living is going down. Even with cost of living increases, people who receive Social Security are getting poorer. The middle class is getting poorer. Our good jobs have gone overseas. Part of this has come about because of the monetary system. You know, we spent beyond our means, and it's easy for politicians to vote for the programs because They for years have been reelected. Whatever you want, we'll vote for it. And